What is going on, guys? MarkyB here, and today I'm going to be doing a week in review style video where I break down the matches of the CWL for this week and basically I guess summarise all my thoughts and what's went on. I'm going to try to do this every single week. It's not going to be, it's going to be pretty formal. I would say I'm just going to break down sort of the way, for example, Scump goes and does the post-event vlogs where he explains what's happened. If some of you guys are fans of his channel, you're sort of understand what's going on here. So essentially we played the Giants and Vitality. The last season I'd say these matches would be far easier, in terms of going into the game I'd be much more confident, and in terms of when the game was actually going on as well, I'd feel like we've already sort of won. Whereas we won both series 3-1, which some of you may know, but nonetheless, they did feel, even though the Vitality game, we lost first map by about 80 points, and I'll go into the maps in particular, but even though the series scores and maps etc weren't very close, it still felt more difficult. It still felt like these teams have improved massively, even though the scorelines in those particular maps didn't suggest so. I don't really think that in Vitality's case in particular we've seen the very best of them. I think right now in our uplink we've scored a total of, so we've played 2 uplink maps and we've scored 46 points in two uplink maps, which is 20 and 18. Yeah, so 46. We've scored 46 uplink points in 2 maps at 24 average, obviously a map. That's pretty ridiculous. But going into the first series, right, Giants, we won first map by about 40 points. I think we made a lot of clutch kills in hills, particularly in Granny's Hill. I pulled off a couple of big 2 pieces with the L car. You've seen other players in my team, like I said, put off massive clutch kills on that Granny's Hill in particular. It was on their host as well, so I think if it was on our host it would be a bit more convincing. I don't really feel like Giants are that great at hardpoint, and I don't really feel like they've improved massively on that. It was statistically their worst game mode last season. They were the second worst team behind Pulse on that game mode. So like I said, I was confident of winning regardless of host, but going into it, it was a bit closer than I expected. Let's put it that way. We won by 40 points, came down to some clutch kills. Playing it on foreign hosts is always difficult. I managed to play fairly decent, but I still feel like I can play much better. But I've played, I would say, I've changed. Some of you guys won't notice this from watching my stream or watching me in game or whatever, but I'm changing a lot how I play the AR role, and I'm trying to revert to a more, I wouldn't say campy, but not as a reckless, aggressive AR as I tended to be over last couple of months. I've been a bit more aggressive. I know when I need to switch on, flying a hill or whatever, I know, but there was times where I was playing very reckless, and you're not going to probably notice it too much, but there's going to be times where I choose to stay alive rather than maybe challenge a kill that I maybe would have went for. So that's one thing that I'm doing right now, and constantly improving day by day, trying to just get used to that sort of style as such. In hardpoint in particular, but I've not really changed anything in uplink or CTF or any other game mode. Maybe S&D, trying to play a bit more selfish and I guess a bit more reckless. So it's kind of not reckless, but just try to make more plays and try and be a bit more a playmaker rather than, I've always been a guy that's been very right, we should do this, push up here, you push there, but not really done too many sort of individual plays or ballsy plays as such, and I'm trying to be a bit more, like I said, not reckless, but just try to throw a couple curveballs in the mix instead of just playing the bog standard set way the whole time and having a certain thing you should always do, or if we're doing a specific push, so for example in past CODs or even on this game, they've known if a trophy comes down here, they're going to be watching this. We were very, my teams that I've been sort of a captain of have always been very, I guess, predictable in S&D, and that's a lot down to me being very when we're doing this strat, you got to do this. Whereas I think I want my team personally to be a bit more flexible now, and just if we want to do something new, just adapt on the fly. And I mean, I've still had like consistent results on S&D, but I feel that's been, especially against specific teams, I think that's always been like my downfall. But like I said, just try to fling more. I think the ones we've had more success on, like as of late in S&D, are the ones we try play a bit more confident and but like at the same time we know we push our limits. Like we're not gonna try and go over that line and just be completely reckless where we know we're just gonna throw our first bloods every round and stuff like that. But we need to know timings and stuff and where we can really exploit on the map and spread and play, etc. But Giants won first map, second map lost S&D Stronghold. We lost a very stupid 2v4, and then that led to them, which was on our defence. Then they went on defence and they D'd up and won the defence, and then the guy got full streaks, and it was just like that really stupid 2v4 in the second round, which would have actually given us streaks and stuff as well, was like a massive round for them in terms of gaining momentum, in terms of getting the likes of RC cars, darts, etc. I believe after they won the next defence afterwards, because a guy got he got like three kills both rounds. He got a bomb plant. So I think they got a dart pretty much the next round, and immediately we knew that, and we were sort of put in a bad position where we didn't really. It's kind of hard to deal with like streaks. Like you need to play to avoid dying from them, and that you can't play as confident as you maybe would have, and if you do, maybe they're waiting for you. Do you know what I mean? If you're using a dart, for example, you're gonna think, oh, we'll just let's rush them or whatever and try and kill the guy that's in the dart, or just try and shoot down the dart. It's easier said than done. Like there's players covering over that player, there's players covering the ways you're going to push out because they know you're going to run out, and then if you don't do that, there's players that are going to push into the areas you're camping in inside, likes of top mansion or whatever. If you're hiding in there trying to stay inside away from the score streaks, pushing into bunker on stronghold, etc. We were just put in a very bad position from that one round in particular that we lost, and I think it just it was like a snowball effect. Streaks and specialists and stuff, if you start to gain momentum and get those in, you can like chain a couple of rounds together, and then you're kind of put in a bad position. And our team in particular, we're not great at S&D, but if you look at our S&D, it's usually it goes one way or another, I believe, and we obviously go to around 11s all the time, but I feel like the games we do lose, I feel like we lose it ourselves. I feel like if the plays we make a lot of the time, where we put ourselves into great positions and we're getting first bloods, I feel like it's just like little mistakes we make in the heat of the moment, and that really separates us from being like, I would say I feel like we make great plays to get first bloods and great plays to bait out players, etc. I think our teamwork's flawless in that regard, but then sometimes we'll just let it slip. Someone will just expose themselves when they shouldn't have and get picked off, or somebody will challenge something stupid. Like I feel like that's our main downfall as such, but I think we're going to improve as we go on. I think one thing about this team, we knock the nail on the head in terms of where we feel like we're going wrong, and we really focus on it, and we've improved like massively. For example, uplink, like I said, weakest game mode before, and going into the season 1 playoffs, we actually put a lot of practice in for that. We grinded uplink. We lost against Millennium in we played one series against Millennium before season 1 playoffs, got absolutely battered on uplinks, and it was sort of like a switch flicked, and we just sort of like discovered how to correctly play it. We all like started to realise how to manipulate spawns and etc, and how to play confident at the same time as trying to gain point. Like our decision making just became much better in terms of what routes we should take, etc. And we've improved so much on uplink, as you like from season 1 playoffs. I believe we won in a very convincing fashion against Splice, and then our next competitive matches obviously have been the ones that we've played in the league so far, and we've done well as well. So we're really confident on uplink as a game mode. We're really confident, and I think that's just, if you compare uplink to start of like or midway through last season to now, it's completely different. It's so much better. Really confident going into that game mode. Hardpoint though, it's weird we're on hardpoint because we are actually, specific maps we're incredible on. We're like, I would say top 3, top 4 teams and specific maps in the world, like on for example Fringe, on Stronghold. Evac though, which is the one we had today against Vitality, but I'll go into that in a second. Uplink, we obviously won against Giants. Then sorry, let me just stop at last CTF. I camped like a bitch. We got a stalemate. We closed it out. We won 3-1 against Giants. Going into the game against Vitality though, we knew that they'd improved massively, and we were. If I'd say we were to lose a map, it was going to be Evac Hardpoint first. It's one we've lost. I think we're not bad at every hard point. I think it just came down to us not getting. I mean, this is a bad excuse, but we didn't really warm up properly, and that's a massive mistake from us. I think that we didn't really prepare properly for the series, and we just didn't make the kills in the hill. We just didn't make the kills, and that was. I mean, when it comes down to it, that you can play whatever way, you can rotate for spawns, you can. But if you're not making the kills, you're not breaking hills, you're not being able to get the spawns, etc. And there was just too many times that we just weren't doing that. It felt a bit disjointed. I think honestly for me it felt like I was playing way too much for spawns, that my teammates, like for example I was like rotating for spawns on like every hill to try and get like the ideal spawn that I want my teammates to have, but they would all die on the hill, and then I'd kill one guy, and then everyone on the hill would just turn around and kill me, and then we've not even got the spawn. We've not got it, and we're spawning out, and what was the point in me going to the back, like wasting all that time when I could have just been flooding the front of the hill, or flooding, like I said, trading off the kills on the hill, and then they probably would end up spawning out anyway. So it's kind of on Evac, it felt like that for me anyway. It felt like I was maybe playing a bit too. I'd also had one-off streaks. I felt like I wasn't playing, I guess, hill enough, and my teammates kept reiterating we were like afterwards we didn't get spawns, but like I said, I've literally was playing for spawns so much that I felt like I was playing for spawns so much that we weren't getting spawns because of me was not breaking the hill, because I wasn't there as the fourth man to sort of break in. So that's definitely something we're going to look to improve on. And yeah, then they went on to the next 3 maps. S&D, Fringe, worst map like across the whole thing. So this series, like I'm gonna hear me say this over and over again, but it's our worst map in terms of that game mode. But we have, like I said, looked to improve on a lot, and we've hit the nail on the head there again. And I feel like we, from that performance anyway, that's the way I want us to play Fringe S&D. And we did make a map, like Trey did ninja defuse in the first round, and I think that may have killed the momentum, killed a bit of their confidence. I picked up 2-3 pieces like back-to-back rounds, just kills that I shouldn't be making. Like, to be fair, like, it was just the way Vitality were playing. They were like, see when you're in that heart, like I don't know, for some of you who may have not seen it, I was basically playing on defense and attack. I basically played the hardware build, and I rushed through mid to hardware, and in one time I also just played hardware with a stock sub. And both times I was just able to pick up like 3 pieces, and I feel like Vitality were like trying too hard to trade me, that rather than just let me get a kill and just let me live in there. Just don't try and push into me and try and kill me, because I'm going to pre-aim that door. I've got a VMP stock, and I've got such a massive advantage, especially for people like ARs pushing in there, or just, I mean, if they've got the same gun as me, but I am literally pre-aiming a very small door that they're going to push into. So they kept doing that. I was like just playing hardware perfectly and get a kill, then I would know one of them was just going to try and fly in and kill me. I just ended up always picking up the second kill, then the third kill just sort of came to me a few seconds later, and I think I was playing it really well. We won a couple of rounds, I ended up getting full streak by this 4th round, and then because I had an RC car, we won another round, and then Petey managed to stay alive for a couple of rounds. He got a dart, then we ended up with 2 darts, 2 lightning strikes. We had an extra RC, we had everything. We were basically in the driving seat. We had specialists that had came up. There was no way we could lose the game. We were because of that snowball of those first couple of rounds and me getting streaks, etc. I think it sort of led to us just winning 6-0. Whereas if they had won that first round, it maybe not allowed me to clamp down on me rushing in on hardware a couple of rounds. It could have been a different matter. That's why it's sort of like, I'm not entirely sure how much we've improved on Fringe yet. If it's, I mean, we've still got to see. But we have won it the last 2 times. We played it in an S&D tournament, finally won it, and just there. So can only say we've improved it. And then we won 28-4 on Uplink Breach. I think they kept first, and it was fairly close for a point, and then we started like just getting greenhouse control, pushing them back in spawn. We started relaying like 1 pointers, 2 pointers. We made some spark plays. We get Trey was one away from a Wraith. We passed him the ball. He got a 1 pointer, got a Wraith, and we were just riding the momentum hype. And just as soon as the second half started, we started gaining more points. Trey called in his Wraith, and then we just started relaying. I got a Cerberus. I dropped that. We started relaying more. It was just a pure snowball effect, and we ended up just rolling over them. CTF, I feel like they threw in the till. To be honest, it felt like they had lost full like, as this sounds terrible, I obviously don't know what it was like in their like team environment or what, but it felt really to me that they had completely thrown in the till. I was for example, I was literally holding. I felt like they were always just running one by one at me when I was holding the back Lambo. My teammates were just basically, they were pushing up the map, 3 of them, and getting cuts for each other in mid-map, and they would have Vitality would send like 3 players mansion, but they would all just challenge me one by one. Like the first guy that gets there should just be, it was as if they were like trying to make desperation plays, like they knew I was going to be there, but the guy with a sub or a guy with an AR would just challenge me, and I don't really think it was necessary. I think he should have just waited for their teammates to group up and then just push out together, rather than just trying to always go one by one. And then when we just, my teammates literally just pretty much were able to leave me there because they never really had much presence. And when they did get pushed up on our base, my teammates all rotated back and helped me, and it was just, they could never, the times where they needed to group together and push, but there was a point where we were 1-0 up and 2 of my teammates were pushed up on their base, and they just kept challenging me one by one from top mansion. I think if they'd sorted out that, but like I said, it just sort of felt like, because they were 2-1 down and they'd lost such convincing fashion the last 2 maps, sort of felt like they were getting a bit desperate. But that's obviously, like I said, just from me, just looking from an outsider's perspective. I could be completely wrong. Someone might have been calling out like Mark's left his spawn. Who knows the whole situation they're in? I'd just like to reiterate that, like, I'm not saying, I don't want to like preach wrong information to you guys, because if that's not actually the case and what happened with Vitality, I completely apologise to those guys, but that's just what it felt like for me anyway. And we managed to win like 4, well, we were up 4-0, broken left, and then obviously the game's over at that point. We capped another couple of flags. I'm not even entirely sure how many we capped, but it was relevant at that stage. Really, it was the first like 3-4 caps that just put the nail in the coffin for Vitality, and we managed to go 2-0. I feel like the game's really sounds weird, but like the Vitality game, it felt much closer than the scorelines of the map suggest. So usually say the series, like you'll see a 3-0, right? It wasn't a 3-0, it was a 3-1 because they won first map. But you'll see a 3-0 and you'll go, oh, the series score wasn't, the games were actually really close. But this is weird, right? Because the series score was 3-1 to us, and it felt when we won by a massive margin, but it didn't feel like that. It felt like the games were close at us at a point, and then we just like broke free. And then at that, they basically gave us an inch and we took a mile every single time. It felt like it was tight. We're all making good plays. It was just, and then boom, we would get like a switch would flick, and we'd just be in their spawn relaying flags and relaying uplink dunks, etc. And they just couldn't recover, like retake their spawn or just regroup in those situations. So I'm really proud of the team, how they played and how we managed to come back from losing maps and stuff. We actually didn't play a 4th map until week 5 last season. We've played CTF twice now, so that's interesting. It's good to get CTF practice because no one really scrims it, but I don't really. It's kind of weird right now because I'm playing CTF like a bitch, to be honest, and it's gonna be interesting to see how that works going into ESWC. We're gonna have to probably adapt and change it up. I mean, it's not. I've played CTF for years. It's not hard to like push up the map, hold cuts, keep tabs on people that are sneaking by, etc. But we've just had a lot of success in CTF, and in the league we've lost one ever. Like as a team, we've lost one CTF, and that was really when we didn't. The CTF. In fact, that's a lie. We've lost. No, I'm not. That's not a lie. Since the league started, since we lost one in the qualifier, and before we lost We lost 2 CTFs. I'm completely wrong. We lost 2 CTFs in like actual competition, like competitive play, before the league started, and since the league's been on, I think we've lost 1 in the league out of like 8 or 9, maybe even 10, and that includes like challenger events. That includes like the playoffs against Splice. We won CTF there, and yeah, we're pretty strong in CTF against EU teams, but who knows how that's going to do against, like I said, American teams and how they play, a bit more aggressive. They won't be flying at me one by one from top mansion on Stronghold, that's for sure. And at the end of the day, guys, all that we want to do this year is progress and beat American teams at international events. So it's one of those hard decisions, like, do we keep doing what works best for us against EU teams, or do we switch up and try and like sort of scrimming? We might not have maybe exact like the best results that we've been having, like from already, like the results we've been having in CTF and EU, but we might get better results against international competition where we're playing against teams that are actually going to do coordinated pushes on our flag and actually sort of trade efficiently and pull out your flag, etc., and get cut-offs and not allow clutch plays to happen, because I can think of a million times we've made too many clutch plays on CTF, and it's, we've won it every time, but it's just we've clutched up way too much, and I feel like it's, yeah, like Looney said in his tweet today, he said that it's very risky the way they play, and he's true, he's right, he's completely right, and he has a very valid point. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I hope, ideally, I'm just like, obviously it sounds terrible, but I want EU competition to improve to the same. So this might be sitting weird, like, why are you telling teams that they're not playing like they're not helping each other or whatever? But honestly, the only way that EU teams are going to improve is if we're losing. We should be punished for the way I'm playing as such. So anyway, that's pretty much all. I've been ranting for a while, but I can talk for fucking Scotland. Hopefully you guys have been watching and enjoying. Like, this is a more sort of like, I guess I'm breaking it down. I guess so. This is similar to the content you'd see from maybe someone like Richard Lewis or Thorn or something like that, on maybe analysing a CS:GO match or whatever. But that's pretty much me, and that's, if you've watched the full 20 minutes, like, it's not even 20, it's 22 minutes. If you watch this full time, respect to you. I've waffled the full time, and I love waffling. If you're a good friend of mine, you'll know that. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you would like similar videos to this where I go very in depth in the future, or if you'd rather me cut it down, be a bit more brief, and just do the same thing, but like I said, not go as in depth and not really get my thought process behind a lot of things, let me know in the description. Let me know, not in the description, in the comments below, what you'd like to see. Also, before I go, I'd like to mention that I'm also selling 10 zip hoodies from Teespring. I don't really make much money off of it, but I'm gonna just see if anyone wants to buy the apparel. I'm selling 10 hoodies. If they are successful, I'll actually get someone to design clothing. I just literally put my logo on a hoodie. It's very basic, but I kind of want to go more down the basic casual wear stuff that you could actually wear like out, and stuff like shirts or stuff that you could actually wear like to the shops or just out in your. Don't really want it to be necessarily gaming, although it's going to come from like a gaming person. I don't exactly want it to be gaming clothing, but that's something that I've always thought about and I want to do going down the line. But like I said, I think you need to generate some interest, so I've put a Teespring thing up, and I put the link in the description if you'd like to buy one of the limited edition MarkyB or MB hoodies, zip hoodies. Then click the link down below and buy them. Once I reach 10, if I actually sell the 10, I'm just like to announce this right now, I'm going to be giving away this Elgato HD 60 Pro to one of the 10 people. So it's 25 quid for the shirt, and you're in a 1 in 10 chance of winning this if I hit the 10. So I should hit the 10 though. Hopefully this will boost it a bit. Like I said, if you do win, I'll obviously send this out wherever you're from. It doesn't matter. And yeah, so 1 in 10 chance of also winning like 150 quid capture card. So you're in it. If you're in it to win it, then you could end up winning one of these bad boys. Like I said, if you do buy it off the Teespring website, tweet me with like a photo of your confirmation or whatever, and I'll follow you on Twitter if I don't already. I'll bloody I'll tweet a shout out at you. Good shit. You know the deal. Anyway, guys, I've waffled on for a bit. Thanks a lot for watching the video, guys. I'll see you in a bit.